So I want to welcome everyone to our Workforce Wednesday event today, and thank you so much for attending. We're so excited to have so many of you on the call because we have a great panel of experts that are going to share some of their new innovative strategies about what they're doing to engage with youth in their community. So the Workforce Wednesday, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, is a monthly networking series that focuses on sharing best practices and innovative workforce strategies. We hold these events the first Wednesday of every month, and it starts at 11 o'clock, as you can see now, through 12 o'clock. And at the end of that, we have just a very brief break. So those that want to stay on and join us for the unplugged session, which is not recorded, and it provides you an opportunity to unmute and take your camera off and talk directly with the workforce strategy consultants and the panelists. So we encourage you to stay on for that. This slide also helps to identify some of our workforce strategy consultants that we have in the region. We have 6 regions throughout the state of Minnesota, and they work regionally, as I said. Our team's mission is really to work with businesses to develop innovative workforce solutions by aligning resources and connecting those resources with the businesses, facilitating collaboration and leveraging expertise. And you'll have an opportunity to meet many of our workforce strategy consultants today. Next slide. And in doing that, Della Ludwig, who is our workforce strategy consultant for the Central region, is going to start us off, and she's going to facilitate the conversation today. We're really excited. Just one last thing. Thank you all for joining all over the country. We know people are working remotely, so we've got some people internationally. We have other people in other states that are joining us today, and we are thrilled to have you participate in this great discussion. Please feel free to use the chat. And if you have innovative workforce strategies or ideas that you're using to engage with youth in your community, please type those in the chat. This is an opportunity to share and network. With that, Della, it's on to you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Della Ludwig. I'm the Central Minnesota Workforce Strategy Consultant. I'll be leading the discussion today on engaging youth in your community. Here's a brief overlook of the agenda. We'll be focusing mostly on reviewing information on career readiness and resources, with the bulk of the time being spent with our expert panelists, sharing how they are engaging with youth. So the next slide is, did you know? So did you know only 53.5% of Minnesota's 16 to 19-year-olds participate in the labor force? It's critical for employers to connect with youth, which will assist with their current job openings and to create a workforce pipeline. It's also important for youth to be involved in the workforce and assist them in their career planning. It's just as critical for youth to learn what they don't like to do for a job as it is as important for them to learn what they do like to do. Youth need to understand career opportunities that are available to them, especially within their own communities. Another interesting fact is the job ratio. In the US economy, it's 1 to 2 to 7. That means for every 1 job requiring a master's degree or higher, there are 2 jobs requiring a bachelor's degree, and 7 jobs that require a 2-year degree or less. About 2/3 of high school graduates are going on to 4-year universities, but only 1/3 of the jobs require that level of education. Now, I'm not saying 4-year college isn't important. I'm saying that youth need to understand when a 4-year degree is necessary for a specific career they want to go into. So changing that perspective. We need to change the perspective from traditional path of high school to college to deciding on a major and then finally working in that career and seeing if they like it, to the concept of really learning about career pathways through classes, business tours, certifications, and work experiences in high school, then deciding on a specific degree or major, which could potentially be paid by the actual employer, and then getting a certification or a college degree or paid apprenticeship in that industry. Currently, high schoolers spend more time deciding on what college they want to attend than they do actually figuring out what career they want to do. Statistically speaking, over 40% of full-time undergraduate students who began seeking a bachelor's degree don't finish that degree in 6 years. In 2008, 35% of four-year college graduates were underemployed, holding a job that does not require the degree that they even got. In 2014, 44% felt that they were underemployed. More career pathway discussions and exploration needs to be offered with high schoolers before they graduate, so they have better understanding of successful self-sustaining wage opportunities available to them, especially within their communities. Focusing on career pathways. Success can mean many different things to people. Parents, schools, and communities need to help all students understand that all career pathways can be successful. DEED defines success as a person earning a self-sustaining or family-sustaining wage, which are above the average cost of living and are not on any sort of public assistance. The cost of living in central Minnesota is around $16.50 an hour, and that is just to make the ends meet: gas, food, mortgage, insurance. If you have kids or student loans, you would need to make additional money. So discussing career pathways. Many schools have begun strengthening their career pathway programs. Most schools, like Itasca Area School District, have defined their program as a program that fosters students' interest in their professional futures. It provides opportunities to gain valuable real-world skills, both technical skills for their chosen trades and soft skills for teamwork and diverse settings. Identity building opportunities for students to discover who they want to be. A guided path for students and parents to follow to prepare for future careers. And community involvement in education meets the needs of local industries. Career pathways programs help students plan for their future and gain valuable real-world skills. The program creates a guided path for students and parents to follow as students prepare for their future careers and potentially gain college credits in that specific industry while they're still in high school. So connecting with youth. Some of the things businesses can do to connect with youth is to build a relationship with the K-12 educational partners, including the CTE department, alternative learning centers, adult basic education, and English as a second language. Look at the map and figure out where your employees are currently driving from, and make sure you're connected with those schools and chambers in those communities. Offer scholarships and presentations and tours to those students. Bring in fancy coffee or donuts or sponsor lunch for students to increase the attention in your events and presentations. Develop a strong social media and geo-marketing campaign in your community by highlighting diversity and scholarship opportunities. Set up a mentorship program for new hires and hiring groups to assist with employee turnover. Create career pathways for each individual person that is within your organization and meet with them often. Incentivize your supervisors and team leads to assist with increasing the retention within your organization. And lastly, review your current employee benefits and perks. Some of the new perks being offered include unlimited time off, flexible work hours, gym memberships, shorter work weeks, especially around the holidays, extended parental leave, stocking the fridge and pantry at work, company-sponsored events and retreats, paid volunteer days, pet-friendly workplace, educational opportunities, including scholarships and tuition reimbursement, and employee recognition programs including meals, gift cards, and other sort of gifts that can be sent to family members, as well as game rooms. So I've attached a couple resources. So we have on here the DEED training grant programs that are available, as well as the Department of Labor and Industry, which offers an apprenticeship initiative. The Department of Labor and Industry also offers a youth skills training grant for schools that are working with businesses. And the Minnesota Department of Education also has a youth apprenticeship program. Career Force offers many different partnerships that are available, and you can also look at those. Next slide. So your Launch Your Future Today is a program in southern Minnesota that offers quite a few different resources, and they have an awesome video for you to share with youth. Bridges Careers Academy in the Brainerd area is a hands-on career exploration event that is held one day a year, and they also have tons of resources for employers and job seekers as well as youth. This is very similar to the program in St. Cloud area, which is EPIC, Explore Potential Interests and Careers. And Central Minnesota Manufacturing Association offers a K-12 navigator for businesses to put their information in if they're interested in talking at schools and or reaching out to specific schools that have put their information out there. Don't forget that Manufacturing Month will be in October. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on that as well. So right now I'm going to turn it over to the panelists. And we are going to go ahead and discuss some specific questions that we have for that group. So we have Kelly Reed, who's a human resources recruiter from Metalcraft in Elk River. Amy Lord works with Kelly, and she's a CTE coordinator at the Elk River, Otsego, Rogers, and Zimmerman School District. Robin Gordon is an HR manager at Mold Tech in Albertville, and she works with Mark Lee, who is the on-the-job training and youth apprenticeship instructor, as well as the Right Tech CEO facilitator at Right Tech Center. Bruce Cyphers is president at Ad Manufacturing in Fairmont, and she works with Tammy Hested, which is a family resource coordinator at Minnesota Valley Action Council. So at this time, I'm going to ask those panelists a couple questions, and then we will go from there. So starting off, if we could go ahead, and we'll start with Kelly and then go to Amy. Can you give us at your organization with youth hiring, including CTE and apprenticeships, on-the-job training, and other programs that you may offer?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name's Kelly Reed, and I'm with Metalcraft in Riverside. We're in Elk River, Minnesota, and I've been with the company for 7 years, and my primary role is recruitment. Since 2018, I've been a member of the CTE Advisory Board with Amy, and you'll be hearing from her this morning. And I was initially involved with helping coordinate the intern program at our company, which allows students that are 16 or 17 years old to actually get on machines, work on the floor, and work on other equipment through the Youth Skills Training Grant. There was a process around that, and we worked it. Just to give a little background, Metalcraft is a machining company. We do precision machining, and we've been in business over 40 years, and we're recognized among leading suppliers in medical implant and device manufacturing. We also have a plant in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, named Riverside as well. And over there, we specialize in precision machining of aluminum heat sinks, cold plates, and heat exchangers for aerospace, defense, and high-tech industry. And we currently have about 300 employees. So for the intern program at Metalcraft, this really got kicked off a few years ago in partnership with CTE. And what we've been able to successfully do over the last few years is work with multiple students in a part-time capacity. And we've had individuals work as machinist interns, interns in our quality department, as well as in HR and marketing. And what's been really awesome is some of these students have continued to advance their skills and promote into full-time roles and stay with us after graduation. And so, it's been really an awesome journey. And I look forward to sharing, more of the success about our program today. It's a great way for students to experience manufacturing or any industry that you're serving. But there's really been a lot of success with training them and also retaining some of these individuals as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Kelly. Amy, do you want to talk about your position and how you connect with businesses?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Lord, and I am with ISD 728, which is Rogers, Elk River, Zimmerman, and Otsego area. We are the 7th largest school district in Minnesota. So lots of students that we're working with, great communities that we're involved with. And so we are super excited to have partners like Metalcraft be working alongside of our students and really building up our students so that they understand all the careers that are out there and helping out our own communities. I started in my position as a CTE coordinator 4.5 years ago. So the district really heard what Della was talking about earlier of there are more jobs out there that do not need a college degree. And so many students don't know about those options. So how do we get that word out there? How do we make sure that we are finding their interest, their passion, and not just next step college? So that is really what we have been working on, is to get that information out there. And we are starting earlier than high school. We are in our middle schools. We're even getting our elementary students to start dreaming and thinking about other career possibilities through different books that they read, or having parents come in and share what they do. I think there's just so many opportunities for students to hear about all the other opportunities there are. This morning I was actually out at our Rogers High School meeting with our internship students for next year to talk about what they want to do. And I had one kid that's like, well, I took AP computer science and I really want to go into computer science. And I said, well, what side of computer science? If we start looking at employers that are interested in hiring you in a paid internship for next year, do you want to do programming? And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to do programming, but I don't know what else there is. And I said, well, this is the perfect opportunity, because we're going to get you into an internship. I said, maybe we'll get you into networking. Do you like crawling around on floors and doing cabling and some of that kind of stuff? Oh, yeah, I'd like to be a little bit more active. I'm like, or do you want to do help desk? Oh, well, that sounds pretty. I'm like, yep, we're going to get you into a place so that you can see these different positions that are available, and you can find what is your pathway before you're deciding where you're going to be going to school. So love that you shared that information. There's some great videos that do the same thing that we share with our parents on parent conference night. If we can get parents in to hear about other opportunities that are available. We have really started working with the internship program, and we do it beyond just manufacturing. As Kelly shared too, they even have some of our interns in their office in HR. Some of the students I was talking about this morning were looking at education pathways. So looking at childcare, looking at getting them in as teachers' assistants. I have quite a few that are interested in healthcare, so we have a lot of partners in healthcare. Talked about computer science, business and marketing. So really the full gamut of where our CTE classes are. Students will take a related class, and then we will try to find them an employer to match up with them so that they can continue to learn besides what's outside of high school. And I know I'm going way too long, so I'm going to turn it over to the next person, and I will share more information later. But I just love that we are providing opportunities for students to learn how to connect with our communities and really where those job opportunities are so that they can be successful and happy without all that college debt.
Wonderful. Thanks, Amy. I love your enthusiasm. Next, we're going to turn it over to Robin. Robin, you want to give us a little update on your position and how you're working with Right Tech?
Yeah, so my name's Robin Gordon. I work at Mold Tech in HR. I've been here we've been in business about 44 years, and I've been here about 20. We work with Mark Lee at Wright Technical Center purely because just to locate employees and try to reel them in young. It's very difficult for hiring, as everybody knows. So that was just our motivation right there. We work with also some of the technical schools out there, and it's a tough market. So if we can get them in and get them interested and motivated, and we've had our relationship is pretty new, so we've worked with Mark for a couple years. So we have one student that is now through a machining program and coming back to work here this May. So it works great. We're able, to get employees, and I'm kind of off track.
No worries.
Say.
Wonderful. Go ahead, Robin.
Nope, go ahead.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Robin, for giving us an overview. Next, I'm going to ask Mark those same questions. And Mark, if you can talk a little bit about Wright Tech and what that is. It's a little bit of a different concept than other schools in Minnesota.
Sure. Let me know if you can't hear me okay, but my name is Mark Lee, and I'm a work-based learning coordinator at the Wright Technical Center. And Wright Tech is owned by the 8 public schools in and around Wright County. And next year is our 50th year. So we've been around for a number of years. The concept all 49 years ago was, rather than having certain career programs at each of these high schools, why not build a better one together? So students come for a third of their day to take programs: automotive, welding, construction, early childhood education, law enforcement, and health careers, to name just a few. So those teachers are experts in their field and often have prior experience that they brought into the classroom that they're able to share, and a lot of connections as well. So students from those 8 schools come for just 90 minutes of their day, and then are back at their, we call them home high schools, to complete other classes. So it is upper level career and tech ed. And one of the things we talk about all the time when students are looking at Wright Tech is that you'll have a pretty good idea after your year if you're interested in it or not, which is okay, to be able to say, you know what, I enjoyed the program. I'm glad I know how to do these things, but I don't think it's what I want to do as a career. So we're very fortunate to have Wright Tech and supporting schools. And what I do is the on-the-job training course. So students come in, they all have jobs. They're primarily seniors, and they can work anywhere. And so part of my job and on-the-job training is that career exploration piece, saying, what do you enjoy? What do you like about your current job? What gives you anxiety? Different things like that, to try to get them an idea of what they enjoy doing, where their talents lie. And then, as we all spend many hours every day doing, who's out there that you can go to job shadow with or intern with, which I love that phrase, which was brought up earlier, rather than just a job, which sounds like you're showing up and collecting a paycheck. That internship where you're going, you're learning. And again, it's more career exploration to say, I like this, or I don't think this is what I want to do after high school. The other part of that with work-based learning at Wright Tech is we have a youth apprenticeship program. On the outside looks a lot like on-the-job training. They often get out of school early, going to work, but they're meeting or being exposed to certain career skills and experiences that are able to definitely tell them if this is the track for them or maybe not. And we've had students over the years that we talk just as talk about being a success as the ones that stay in it. Of those that spent 6 months there, said, I don't think this is for me. They go and they shake a hand. They say, thank you for the opportunity. We get to talk to them about not burning that bridge, but going to find something else. So one of the main reasons I reached out to Robin to be one of the speakers is they've had a student that's gone in, worked there. They're still working with him after high school, bringing him back, working with him on going to school. But they've also sat down with students, interviewed them, and said, you know what, this just isn't the right fit. And I want to definitely empower companies out there that you have the ultimate say in this, and to not just take any warm body, that still make sure it's the right fit. And it's sometimes okay to walk away because that doesn't end up turning out well for the student or the school or the employer.
Excellent. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it, Mark. Next, we're going to have Ruth. Ruth, would you be able to give us a little bit of an overview of your organization and how you've worked with Tammy?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I own Ad Manufacturing, and it is a full-service advertising agency. So it's a manufacturing company of advertising. I worked in the manufacturing field for 20 years, and so that's what I knew, and so that's how I run my advertising agency. Located in Fairmont, where we have 4 full-time employees. We consider ourselves premier ad agency for the area. Can't go anywhere where you can't see some of our work. I get really excited about career pathways in internships and in job shadows. And the reason why is because it took me, myself, 20 years to figure out where I should be in my life. So the goal for myself when I do job shadows and internships is that they do learn more about them than they ever knew, and whether they are right for an ad agency or where they would go. I have several stories that I could share with different internships that we've had, but Tammy, this is a pretty cool program. One thing I will say is that it's pretty neat because I have gotten in them several internships, several from her. Either I send them to her or she sends them to me. So it's a two-way street. So if I know of someone that I think would be valuable, then I send them to her and she places them with me, or vice versa. The other thing that we do, that I have done as well, I've had several with her ever since the program started. So, but I also have had more than one. And the reason why that happened is because there are nonprofits in the area that need an intern while they don't have any place to house them. So I've actually housed them in my office. And so I might have one for a nonprofit in my office and another one in another room. So, and not to belittle the work about it, because it's a lot of work. But however, the satisfaction in the future to see some of these interns go on to later in life, and whether the goal is to have them come back to the community, obviously. And that has happened time and time again. And I'll let Tammy talk a little bit more about that.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Ruth. Thanks for joining us. And Tammy, do you want to talk a little bit about your program that you offer and how you're connecting with businesses?
Sure. So my name is Tammy Hested, and I work for Minnesota Valley Action Council. I actually office out of Career Force. So I collaborate with lots of different organizations, but certainly Career Force is one that I collaborate with. But I coordinate the Martin County Internship Program, and this one is pretty unique in the sense that we actually get the funding to offer paid internships for college students in our area. And our Martin County commissioners started this program back in 2012, where they really wanted to see students come back to our area and how could we connect them to get them to do that. And so I coordinate the program where they come back in the summer, talk with me, meet with me. We talk about kind of different opportunities in the area and then try to match them up with businesses. So like Ruth said, I've matched several up with her. And if she has a student come in and want a summer job, she will do certainly do the same for me. So it's really an opportunity for these students to learn more about what careers they want. Oftentimes, after that internship, they're like, "Nope, this is not for me," and we consider that a win as well. And then, it just helps guide them for future. So ultimately, the goal was to get students to come back. And like Ruth said, I think we've seen that. And so that's very exciting, and that's ultimately what we want. So that's one thing that I do. Another thing that we do here in our area is our area career exploration, which we just completed a couple weeks ago, and that's where we collaborate with the Fairmont Chamber and the school. And we have an event that's held at the Fairmont High School where businesses come and set up booths and different activities and games for the students, and they talk to them about different career paths. The students all come, they do a career assessment. We have a little game show, a little competition between the schools because we have other schools that come as well. And the other cool thing we've done is we've put together a panel of young graduates that have returned to our area and are working in our community. And many of them, have completed college or some sort of certification or degree, but others are just working in our community and have found their path. And so those individuals get up and talk to the students as well and share their story. So those are just a couple of the things that we're doing down here in Martin County. And, we're very passionate about it too. We see the issues in the labor market and the labor force. And I'm a mom of a college student too. And so talking to them about other opportunities that maybe don't involve college is certainly something that we really are focusing on.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So Amy and Mark and Tammy, just if you could discuss a little bit more about your CTE and the CEO programs that you offer, maybe some of the certifications your students can get while they're in school, and then how you connect those students with the businesses in your communities. And then taking it a step further, how can other employers in other areas of the state connect with their school districts?
Sure, I can kick us off on that. So our CTE programs, we have career pathways, and that's been part of what we've really been focusing on is promoting the different pathways so students can see what are the careers that are out there and then what classes they can take that will help them move into that direction. And so as they kind of navigate through, they'll find out that they don't like certain classes. They'll find out that where their strengths are. And then that's where we build them with the connection with employers. So we do a lot of career fairs from the EPIC event that you mentioned we'll send kids to, but we also do a big event with our 8th graders, but we send them out to Anoka Technical College, Anoka Ramsey Community College for a day after they've done like an interest assessment so that they can start planning their high school classes based on where their interests are. We have a huge event that's going to happen first time in May, on May 20th at Zimmerman High School. We have about 50 employers that are going to be out, and all of our 9th through 12th graders will get to touch a whole bunch of different careers. We're doing it inside and outside. So like outside, I know that they're going to be doing a mini skid loader and they can actually get in, and they are going to take a softball off of a cone and drop it in. But they're also going to have transportation there. We're going to have ambulance there. We're going to have food truck there. So just kind of being able to go in, they're going to be, there's quite a bit of construction from that side too. And then inside the gym, We're going to have a whole variety as well, from healthcare, veterinarian, IT. So just that the students can kind of go around and talk to the different employers, a lot of hands-on activities. So excited for that. Hopefully we have good weather, because when you plan outside, you just never know. But I would say the way that we really connect with employers is, number one, our advisory committees are huge on helping us identify what we should be doing in each industry. So we do OSHA 10 certification, we do a ServSafe certification, we do a nursing assistant, we go do first aid CPR. So when I started here, we didn't have a lot of those certifications. They were doing what they called TSAs, Technical Skills Assessment, and employers didn't know what those were. But they were aligned with where they were going, but it didn't mean anything to an employer. So really modifying and changing what that looks like based off of employers' feedback. The other way is volunteer in the schools. So I always think when I go and talk to an employer, I'm not going to go in and say, hey, I need money for this. I'm looking at how I can help them out. So I'm looking at, okay, you need people, let's build this. And how we can do that. Once we build that relationship, then I might say, now I need some money for this. And they'll be able to help me out. But that's not where you start. You start on building that relationship and making it so that you can see the benefits of both sides. I used to get calls, and I still do get calls from schools or from employers all the time that say, hey, I want your seniors that don't have a plan so that I can hire them and build them on. And I'm like, no, you don't. Those aren't the seniors you want. You want my juniors and my seniors coming up so that I can get them in and you can be their future plan. So if I can get them into the internships in your employer at your company, their plan after graduation will be to be with you and work with you, or maybe go on to school that they know that they're going to get some funding, come back and work summers, and eventually maybe come back to you as well. Metalcraft has a great example. We had a student that school was not his thing, but the internship working for them was amazing. He has graduated high school now, and he actually is mentoring some of our new interns as they come in, and continues to be very successful in that position. But that's what we're striving for, is really trying to connect with employers to be able to give them their future workforce. And our employers love our students because they have new energy. They don't come in with it already like, this is how I'm going to do this, or this is how I did this at my last job. They're wanting to learn. So I get that all the time from employers. The other way is we do a lot of job shadowing. So just being open to that. We work with our chamber. Metalcraft has been amazing to do what's it called? Cool Jobs Tour. So this last year we had probably, well, and Della, you were there, but we had probably 50 to 75 parents and students that came through, because parents are so key in this whole decision-making process as well. So making sure that they're on board and they understand the opportunities. We're doing a hiring event in Rogers High School in 2 weeks. So that's something new that we haven't really had, where we bring in employers to actually hire for summer internships and after graduation. So a little bit different twist of connecting our students that way. But I don't want to steal everybody's ideas, but it's really just about having that conversation, finding that connection of where we both need to go and the goals that we have. I know Metalcraft has been amazing of coming in and speaking to our classes. So they come in and talk to our manufacturing and our welding classes. And then they open the doors to say, come in after school, set up a time for a tour. So not necessarily taking the whole class on a tour where you're going to have those kids that just want to get out of school and they're going to screw around. But you're really getting those that are serious, and they can come in with their parents and they can get that tour. And I know Kelly can share at Metalcraft that she's had students that she talked to maybe 5 years ago that are calling her now and saying, hey, you were really impressive and I got your business card and can I come in and see you again? So it definitely works to make that connection with students.
Wonderful. Mark and Tammy, how are you connecting with those employers? And again, maybe Mark, even, I don't know if a lot of people even know what CEO is. If you want to maybe touch on that as well.
Sure, I'll jump in with that. The CEO is an entrepreneurship program for high school students who want to start their own business someday. So primarily juniors and seniors in high school. And that is not a work program. We are out in businesses 2 to 3 times a week, meeting hopefully with the owner to see how they started and have grown that business and advice they give. But being in the work-based learning world, always talking with the businesses to mention to the students, hey, if this interests you, not on the entrepreneurship side, but as these careers, come on in. And then a lot of things that Amy talked about the tour and holding on to those business cards, that's your professional network of people you've met that have said, stop in, have a conversation. We'll do a mock interview. I'll look at your resume. Just realizing to all these students that people want to help them, but oftentimes they don't know how, or they don't know the proper channels to go through to connect with the right students. So it's great for students, and their feedback over the years is, yeah, I learned a lot about entrepreneurship, but I learned so much about my community. And, I drove by that building for the last 10 years, and I never know what they did in that huge building in there. And boy, how terrible that they leave high school not really knowing the opportunities that are there. So again, making sure the students realize what's there, but also on the employer side of stating that they're allowed to come in, stop in, have a conversation. And then with the entrepreneurship class, making sure the employers will talk about the opportunities that they have. And even if it's just the job shadow piece of coming in and spending 4 hours and here's what I'll have you do. And boy, a lot of students take them up on that because of that opportunity to learn about those careers. So that's the entrepreneurship class called CEO. But I also wanted to talk about because I think the question was on connecting here, really encouraging companies to call it a summer internship and to design what works well for them. Do they want to have 4 students in for 10 hours a week for 4 weeks? It doesn't have to be a full-time 40-hour-a-week job if the goal is the career exploration, and that's from the student side, but also the interview piece from the company is saying, is this person a good fit? So if you're going to pay them, they don't just want to watch. They don't want to just job shadow the entire time. They want to learn something and do it, see if they enjoy that. So if there's an opportunity to move them around to different departments, learning something, applying it, but again, that they're paid. So use them where they're needed and encourage them to give feedback both to you, and then also anything they can do on their Snapchat stories, safely at work, but sharing what they're doing, how they got there, what they think is cool, that they're learning, that they can get that out to their friends to, again, promote these industries that we know are good jobs, good pay, earn a living. But for the student world, they're so immersed in the classroom, and college and career readiness sometimes is way too focused on the college and career readiness. So anything they can do to help you promote that is definitely a plus. So the third piece of that is always the student side, right? And Amy mentioned the parents because they're key. We lump them together, but realizing that these open houses and opportunities to go in and learn about businesses are really key. So we tie that into part of the classroom component of an on-the-job training or youth apprenticeship, that they're required to go out and learn more about some different opportunities that are out there. And there is a gap between, whether it's just 40 hours over the summer and a tour. We always talk about, boy, it'd be great if there was a requirement for a student to graduate high school that they had to spend a couple of afternoons at a company, a job shadow, but also where they get a chance to experience some of the tasks that are there. because they have a lot of teacher in-service days and different breaks where I've talked to different counselors that are out there and say, hey, if we set this up, will they do it? And unfortunately, it's if it's a requirement, they will, but they at that age don't see the value. And so sometimes getting the parents involved and having them go along to do the tours and see how cool these businesses are when you get in. But from a business side, because I know that's a big part of the audience today, post those things out there, talk to the people who work for you already, and don't be afraid to bring in an intern. And maybe it's just, like I said, 10 hours a week to have them do something at the job, pull them into an occasional marketing meeting, talk to them about forecasting, and then again, connect them with the mentors at the company that can tell them, hey, here's how I got there. I went to tech school or I didn't. I learned it on the job, or I learned it in the military. That they know all the opportunities that are out there to get to those jobs that don't probably require a college degree.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark. I really like that summer internship opportunity and building that program. That's a great idea. Tammy, did you have anything to add? We're kind of running a little late, of course, but if you have a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think our program is funded through the Martin County Commissioners, so I think there's no risk to the business to take on an intern because they're not paying them. So I think that gives them an opportunity to maybe try them in different areas and have them see a more overall experience instead of just one specific area. And obviously, we have some businesses with mentors like Ruth that just go above and beyond. And certainly those are the ones that, we like to tap into because we know that they'll go that extra mile for the student. So I would say, obviously collaboration with those companies for sure is huge, and communications and building relationships. And then, the piece of having that funding that's available, and that funding also includes work comp insurance. So really no risk at all to the business.
Wonderful. Great point. Work with the willing, right? So next we're going to talk with Kelly, Ruth, and Robin. How do you get involved with your schools and in your communities? And what were those first steps in engaging youth with your organization? One of the things too is I know a couple of the manufacturers on here. How'd you get some of those students who are under the age of 18 to work within your organization? So Kelly, Ruth, and
I can go.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, so as far as getting involved with the schools or communities, Amy kind of spoke to a lot of that. It's really building those relationships. For myself, being on that advisory board was really a great way for me to learn what other companies were doing and how they were leveraging students and their businesses, or hearing their ideas of what they wanted it to look like. It was also important for us being a few of the leaders at my company and myself to visit the classroom instructors and to build relationships with them as well, and the work-based coordinators. As part of getting involved with the schools, to hear what they had to say, what they're seeing, what they need, and for them to also understand who we are and what we're looking for. So again, building relationships, hosting tours, participating in career days, interview days. The Cool Jobs event that we had last year was, I would love to do it again. It was just great to have so many parents there, and students and community members. And we actually had, our one student that Amy referenced earlier, we had a panel and our owner was on it as parent slash, owner, and a couple other people on the panel. And so it was really interactive, and we walked away with that event with 2 interns, that came out of that and had good conversation with their parents. So again, that's, I think, a key that we need to continue to talk about as well. And as far as first engaging youth in our organization, just taking a quick step back, and I know we're kind of racing for time here, but one of the things that really also needed to happen up front was getting our leaders buy-in. At that time, I think we were all starting to see, certainly, feeling how it was starting to feel more and more difficult to hire people at that time. But, there was the question of, well, if we start training them and investing time and they just leave, right? And so it was really trying to influence and get them to think differently about it. Like, yes, some will leave and they're going to learn that this isn't the right fit for them. Some will leave and hopefully maybe come back, and we're planting seeds, and some will stay. We had another student, he was going to go straight to a 4-year college for engineering, ended up going another path, doing, the first couple years at a local tech school. And then, COVID happened. He ended up working for us full time, and now he's going to go back and finish that 4-year degree. And so by him working with us, I just think you don't know until you put yourself in a position. And so getting our leaders really involved was definitely beneficial. And now they can't say enough about it. We've had people stay on board, really contribute. These students, they want to learn, they're eager to learn, highly motivated, and we want to continue to bring on more students whenever we can. As far as there were some questions about hiring students that are under the age of 18 running equipment, again, that was in partnership. And Amy, correct me if I get some of my details wrong. It's been a couple years, but we worked with as part of our CTE program and the Youth Skills Training Grant, and the Department of Labor came in, and there was a walkthrough done, and they looked at our machines and what equipment students would potentially be using, and they told us yes to this and no to that, making sure everything was safe. And of course, we had to provide our work comp information, and to have people participate in our internship program, they do need to be part of the CTE program. So there's a little bit more to it, but that's kind of the high level of how you make that happen.
Excellent. Thank you. Ruth, we have about a minute. Oh, you're on mute. Yeah. There you go.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I'd just like to touch on the area career exploration. We have a booth out there that Tammy talked about, and both my graphic designers were out there last week, and we received some great feedback from some of the kids that talked to about design. The other thing is, and if I could, I'd like to just tell you, I'd like to just share a little story about one of my interns, and I have many I could share with you, but last year I had an intern, and I'm going to call her Lori. Lori came to us, and I actually reached out to her, and she went to Tammy, and Tammy got her hooked up and got her all. And it's really important, this funding from our county, for me being a small business, to be able to not have to worry about paying these, but I still get to work with them. But there's other things I can do for them then. So she came, and I could tell within the first few weeks that there was something not quite right. And so I enlisted in her getting a personality test. I got her some coaching, and it all just kind of melded together. And she left here with a more clear picture of herself and her life and where she's going. And just last week, I referred her for a job. So if I wouldn't have probably referred her at the beginning of her internship, but now I'm confident in her, and that this is something that that I can do now, because I know what her career pathway is a good pathway for her. And so I'm excited to hear how that went for her. And so I'd be willing to visit and talk about any other, interns that I've had in the past. Most have gone really well. I'd say about half have come back to the community. And some there was a few there that weren't all that great. And I've learned along the way on how to handle those situations. And that's why Lori, we did the right thing for her, because I've learned along the way as well. And that's what it's all about. We're all learning, aren't we?
Excellent. Thank you so much. We're going to start wrapping everything up with our presenters. We will be doing from 12 until 12:30 a question and answer. There's tons of wonderful, awesome resources that are being shared in the chat. Make sure you're taking a peek at that. But one final note, if each of you, 3 words or less, what should employers do first? What's the first thing that they should do? Kelly or Ruth?
In 3 words or less?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Search out the possibilities.
Excellent. Kelly, Robin?
Oh, I just said go for it.
Go for it. Yes. Be connected. Know your community.
Yeah, I would
Robin?
just agree with that. Get connected and get the buy-in of the leadership in the organization. These kids can really be a great asset.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to go ahead now and go back to the agenda. And our next event will be on June 1st. It's Workforce Wednesday. Please join us. We're going to be talking specifically about on-site career exploration opportunities. We're going to hear from different panels, including subject matter experts on promising practices for hiring and retaining talent using various methods, including internships, externships, job shadowing, and summer work experiences. So feel free to register already for our June 1st event, or if you have any questions. We have quite a few good presenters already lined up for that. We have Resource Training and Solutions in St. Cloud. We have Career Solutions that is going to be talking about their Career 1 and Career 2 programs, and quite a few other businesses that will be presenting. And again, thank you all for attending. If you would like to reach out to anybody on our team, here's the link. We will be sharing this presentation and all information after the event. The recording will be made available to you, and we'll also be sharing the resources on careerforcemn.com. So again, thank you for joining us. Any last quick questions? I see a hand raised, but I can't see who. Mary Ann Smith.
Yeah, and maybe we can move to the unplugged session for some of the Q&As if they're not able to unmic.
That sounds great.
On behalf of Jackie Buck and the whole Workforce Strategy Consultant team, I just want to thank the panelists so much for all of their time, their ideas, their insight into how to engage youth in the community. It really does make a difference. And I love some of the short little quips at the end. It is so important that you get out there and you do something different and you do go for it. You look outside the box. It's recruitment, talent attraction, talent retention isn't the same. It's not what we used to do for those of us who have been doing it for a while. We've got to really be innovative. And so not only the panelists, but a lot of individuals put ideas in the chat. And as Della said, we'll be sending this out as well as a survey, as well as resources, and all of this information to everybody who registered today. It is 11:59, so those of you who can't stay on for the unplugged version of the Q&A, again, thanks for attending, and we look forward to having you register for our June 1st event. We'll take a brief minute and before we open it up for questions and cameras unlocked. Thanks.
Thank you.